Hello everyone, thanks to the power of the internet, I get to talk with you all, and from how fast I'm talking, what's on the screen, I'm gonna not try to spoil anything, but I have to. I have to talk about Magnolia. He's right here. This episode was hype. All my expectations were destroyed, and you know what? I love it. I love him. He's so simple, he's so good. So, they've given me what I love the most about Magnolia, Elder, but on a grade 3. Brother, I can persona ride again. My front row can have power. So, what does Emperor do? I'm not going to go over any of the Sylvan Horn that showed up in this episode, because I just know one's an inlet, and I didn't care about the other one. But more Sylvan Horn is always great. But basically, if we go over to the deck log, main deck, grade 4, it basically is just Elder's effect. So, when it is on place, you get a revive a unit from drop. I'm going to assume grade 2 or less, which is fine. It's going to be a little bit more weird with the goat, because it stays in the soul, so you got to consistently soul charge to get it out, but it's fine. More importantly, the restriction now is you don't need Magnolia in your soul. You're tied to your opponent's grade. So even going first, you can still get 2 more attacks from back row, which is really, really good, and they get 5k. Now, I don't know if you can intercept from back row just like normally, or they gain intercept. We'll have to wait till Tuesday for the official wording for that, but until then... I'm sorry, I've been screaming a lot. I won't question that, because the potential build is an Elder still running Ingolf, but now with new Magnolia. But more importantly, it kept the original idea of Persona Ride with Magnolia, and the big thing now in this season is just Drive +1, which is why new Magnolia is basically Elder. So if we take a look at all the support, obviously Old Mag is now Elder. We're going to look for Sylvan Horn specifically. The new ride line is actually pretty good in itself for what Magnolia has to do, so just keep it the same. Add in an energy crest because we can. And what does main deck need? Well, obviously, Sentinels. You can run normal Elementary now. If you're going into a Elder more focused build, I still recommend just playing this one. Or you could run all 4 normal PGs and still run Sweet Shop package to be able to call back PGs from on place on Vanguard and be able to bind it. There's so many different deck builds. I'm just getting an idea of what you should be looking for. Obviously, you want your triggers. Best over trigger, you get them all. I actually very much enjoy the anime's ideology of running split 2 front, 2 draw. But definitely because we get small numbers and we need to do damage. Max out on all the criticals you can. 2 draws. And of course 4 heals. Doesn't matter which. Now, when looking for support for Sylvan Horn, there's a lot. So I say don't have a lot of cyclers because you have this lovely little boy who is basically Squirrel, but a little bit different. So you actually have to attack with it first, and then Energy Blast stand it. So it doesn't get a move or anything, so this is definitely a must grab. This is honestly just your Spurring Maidens. But it's the greatest revive you could ever ask for. No. No one should play this. This thing is a war crime in Magnolia. But definitely you can now run Sorrols, because not only are you looking for Persona Rides now, but now you actually want a Persona Ride, which is... I don't have to play Mask, but you can, because now Sorrol plays a double purpose of... You either find Mask, or you can actually find, a Persona Ride build, which is not too bad. This actually might sway me into playing Mask, because you can just do a lot of a grade 1 rush and not be punished for it. Because, as much as I love Elder, He's very slow, and the only benefit is Ingolf. And even then, well, Ingolf is such a powerful card, getting back anything basically from drop for a Soul Blast, which you have a plentiful of Soul. It's just so slow, and getting a 15k shield isn't worth it, especially because you want to call him for the effect. These things don't matter. Oh yeah, definitely Goat. You can loop Goats, so if you somehow find a way to Soul Blast in Ride, Golbat will go in, come out, can go back in, or you can even Soul Blast him out, and then call him to back row with Patriarch. This one is going to be underlooked. Winzapoo. This one's really good because not only can you get 2 attacks from back row, give them plus 5k and can intercept, this thing can be called during your grade 2 turn, which really helps because everything looks at like top 3, top 5 now, and he's a valid target because he's considered a grade 2. And you can call him. So not only a 13k body, but immediately once you're done your grade 2 turn, when you go to grade 3 turn, this is a 23k attacker or 28k attacker. So like definitely something to consider, at least like a 2 of. You don't really need Alpin, but it really helps with the rush. So you can consider the Alpaca. But what's really fun is the secret sauce of the early game stuff. Because now we can use more Gerbreg. Now we can actually use things like this. This unit can attack from the front row. Okay, it's a 10k booster, 15k attacker. It's pretty nice. It hits numbers. You could run it because you want to rush your opponent now. You can actually close out games or even force a game closeout before your Persona ride, which is so nice. But more importantly, many of you might not remember Balgicorn, but now because you're not consuming a lot of CB, this thing can now attack from back row very conveniently, in which you happen to believe it attacks your whole opponent's front row, so you can actually get some board removal going out. So definitely that's an include. See, this one could be nice. It's kind of like the sheep I showed before. But the main thing, my boy, he's never left from any of my set 1 list. 4 of the numbers you can now hit. Especially, even in Mask, where you're consuming so much CB, if you find one bear, a Care Bear, it can now be lethal. Because if it's on a Dragon Tree marker, let's just say, 10k from Own Effect, 10k from Persona Ride, plus 5 from that. So that's 35k you can just easily, whip around. Or that's just 25k if you're just playing Patriarch. And obviously, Epnix is a really good card, especially if you're going into the set 7 meta, because this is set 8 stuff for Patriarch. They have Buff Sagra, and they have, Palatonic, Lyrical Lock. Epnic just says, no, and guess what? I'm a 23k attacker. So nice. Of course, we can now also ignore this thing, and more revives the better. Honestly, I didn't think I would enjoy Apple as much as I would in Patriarch, because I'm like, you got to use a lot of, energy already for your restand or your draw card. And half of its first effect is useless because you're not calling anything mask related. But now that you can revive it with Magnolia, this becomes, Magnolia's free on place now becomes Energy Blast 3, Call 2. And hey, if you happen to have this lovely little boy, Banatsby, this becomes Energy Blast 3, Counter Blast 1, Soul Blast 1, Call 3. If you if you're protecting an Elder, that's Call 4 for just free, basically. But, like, these are some definitely things to consider. This is what I imagine as the perfect, like, trigger ratio of 2 draws, 2 fronts, 4 heals, 7 crits. But, like, the time of Magnolia, it's fastly approaching again. Because not only do we get back our tempo, because we're not just forcing so many grade 3s and needing to wait till like turn 4, turn 5 to do something, Friendship Fairy can be ignored for the rest of eternity now. We can do things. We are no longer limited. This Magnolia could be, not a lot of people did it, but damage denied. If you're going first, if your opponent just didn't attack into you, you're a 3 attack deck with baby numbers. What? That's 13k, 10, 13, 23 if you're lucky. All of which can be guarded just with triggers. But now there's open limits. I can't even word correctly right now because I'm just thinking of like 7 different lists. And once we get like the Sylvan Horned support and official wording for everything, I'm a cook. I'm gonna cook. I might even take a day off of work. I might just cook the whole day. And you know what? If you guys want like a temporary deck list right now, we'll do it. I'll quickly throw something together. We need grade 3. Bam, your Persona rides are in. I want to go for a real rush feeling, so we're actually going to increase this goat to 2. I know it kind of sounds a little scandalous, but it's worth it. We're going to cut down Bananspe a little bit. Sadly, we're going to take out Bicorn. And we got to get rid of 3 more cards. Gabreg can go 2. Actually, 1, 2, 1. There you go. If you guys just want to do some empty testing, I've made a basic list that if you rush your opponent strong enough, it should work out beautifully. But if you made it actually past my mad ramblings, thank you. I will most also likely post a short, which will explain why my voice sounds like this, because I've just been screaming, and I've repeated that scream 3 to like 5 different times for different people. But yeah, I can't wait for set 8. Magnolia, here I come.